Belize's comrades in arms, mostly looked upon as disciplined men and women that make up the Belize Defense Force, are reeling from the loss of two of their colleagues in as many months. The mode of death, suicide. Sunday's discovery inside B.D.F. Captain Damacio Cox's cell at Tango 10 at the Belize Central Prison came as a shock not only to prison guards, but also to his fellow officers at Price Barracks.
There wasn't a time that I would be back and forthing with this individual. There wasn't a time that he would grow angry over a lot that I pressured him with. He got the work done, and he was a jovial individual. He laughed a lot. We had some good social times as well. The suicide paradigm is something that is, sometimes you just can't tell. You just can't tell.
Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns, who is the B.D.F's Chief of Staff, told reporters today that the men and women who stood shoulder to shoulder with Captain Cox are impacted by the incident. Counseling sessions are extended to them through the Ministry of Health and Wellness and otherwise.
Where we have to get these professionals from the private sector, then we'll have to reach out and pay accordingly for their services. But it is important that we get the unit that he was directly in charge of into grieving. The organization is grieving still from Micah and now Damacio.
Dr. Juliet Simmons is a psychologist in the Ministry of Health and Wellness who deals with these kinds of issues regularly. Depression is one of the leading factors of suicidal tendencies, she says, and in 2021 alone, the statistics were concerning.
We had 31 completed suicide. In the past 4 years ago, we used to have in the low 20s. So that was an increase.
Since the death of Private Micah Miguel in late July, the B.D.F. is now trying to prevent what is called suicide ideation, a concept familiar among psychologists that results in causal sequence, or what Burns refers to as a copycat mentality. But Lieutenant Colonel Burns admitted that the B.D.F. is struggling with more than a concept, but instead, a crisis situation.
And I'm sure you've seen this on social media as well. Couple guys either saying that they're tired of living, and by saying that, according to the Colombian rating suicide scale, just saying it is near an attempt. In a group of about 50, we had at least 15 to 16 that was near the edge of ideation. And so that raised an alarm for us. If you have in an organization of 2,000 and you have 5 to 10 people that has suicide ideation during your crisis, we've had 2 or 3 incidents since Micah's passing that came near attempt, and we had to restrict those folks to barracks.
The soldiers who have shown outward signs of suicidal ideation have been under psychological therapy, and depending on their mental state, they will be assessed by a psychiatrist. But what pushes people to want to end their life? Dr. Simmons warns that depression is one of the leading factors of suicide.
Once somebody has depression, a severe depression, it's highly likely they will have suicidal thoughts. And once there is one person has attempted once, their risk is even greater for that person.
Whatever triggered Captain Cox to take his life will never be known. His family has asked that the autopsy on his body be postponed until his mother is here for that procedure. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.